I think he will have compassion and empathy for all those who present themselves. He'll do that without personal predilection, without a specific philosophical inclination, with an aim at consensus building. I urge a vote of confirmation.
The Supreme Court decision on that same-sex matter is expected sometime in June. Boy, is news coming here. Mark Sherman is the Associated Press reporter who wrote this story, and he joins us now. Also joining us is Paul Henderson, a veteran prosecutor. Let me start with Mark and give us a sense of this. I've always had a sense about the court decisions of Justice Kennedy about the idea of the individual, and the individual as a whole person. And yes, sex is part of that, sexual attraction is part of that, sexual behavior is part of that, but they're all part of being a whole person, a person who can love other people, and a person who will act on that love physically. And the question, it's always been a portion of who an individual is, not all they are. And therefore, I thought it made perfect sense that this article you wrote suggested that personal experience with someone else may have reminded him, as we all are reminded in our lives, of gay people and straight people being people first. Your thoughts?
Well, that's right. There's probably no doubt that there were several factors that go into the several opinions Justice Kennedy's written in favor of and support of gay rights at the Supreme Court. And lots of people I talked to in Sacramento who widely believe that Dean Shaper was gay say they can't believe that Kennedy wouldn't have been influenced by his close friendship with Shaper.
And this gift, I have to tell you, I don't think it's nefarious, but it's kind of interesting. Every year he would send him a gift of $400 worth of shirts. Now, if those were Brooks Brothers shirts, that's about 5 shirts at the most, maybe 4. But, I mean, that's a lot of shirts. And I always wondered what a strange gift. It's like Dean Smith giving everybody who played for him a dinner out one night. What is this shirts thing? Have you figured that out?
Well, I don't know any more about it than that it would show up year after year on Kennedy's financial disclosure form that he has to file on an annual basis.
Paul, give me your sense of this. Of Kennedy, why did he become the conservative? He was Ronald Reagan's personal attorney. He's the guy in the Liberty, in the Lawrence case. In the Lawrence case, he gave the rights of, he got rid of the sodomy laws. He said private behavior, sexual behavior is part of being an individual, part of being a person capable of loving someone. Let's drop it as a prohibition. But here he is on that same question of, is it going to be the Liberty Clause, the Equal Protection Law, what is it going to be? Equal Protection Laws is going to be, what is it going to be in that 14th Amendment that's going to give us the decision
in this analysis? It's going to be the 14th Amendment, an interpretation of equal protection, and figuring out what the conflict is going to be between the state decisions that have been made and the lower federal court decisions that have been made with the states of Kentucky, Michigan, Ohio, and Tennessee, versus the individual rights. And we keep coming back to these individual rights here because I liken those arguments to the arguments that have been made in the past with race, with marriage, with sexual orientation. And so that's what he's going to be deciding. And you are absolutely correct that these jurists don't make decisions in a bubble. They are absolutely influenced. They don't make the law, they interpret the law. But they also interpret what society is doing, what culture is doing, who their friends are. All of these things they value and they interpret, as he has said before, as he values individualism. Those things are what he uses as a lens to review the law and make decisions. So I think you're absolutely correct, and this article is spot on in interpreting.
Okay, let me go back to the author of the article, Mark. I know it's not your thing, it's your reporting, but you know, the fascinating thing about the old joke is the Supreme Court follows the election returns. I know that, but that's a fact. But also, if you look at the landmark decisions, and this will be one, like the Brown case or the prayer in school, or the Roe v. Wade case, Roe v. Wade on abortion rights, they come out of some reading of the Constitution which isn't in there. They find inherent values in there, like when they find out that black school kids think that white dolls are prettier than black dolls, they say, wait a minute, we're teaching the wrong values to our kids. Therefore, separate but equal sends the message of inequality. We got to stop doing it. That's an inherent perception. So I do think what you were writing about is fascinating. Have you checked this out with anyone else who said that the individual personal experience of Judge Kennedy with this mentor really did foster his identification and empathy for gay people?
Well, I think it's really, it's probably a complicated answer, and I did not say in the story, and I can't say here that alone explains it. But the notion that it's a part of what helped him form his views, I think, is perfectly plausible.
And by the way, just to get this straight for everybody, not straight's wrong word to use here, but get it clear for everybody. The minute you have a gay person in your close company, especially in your family, all of a sudden, people have different values and different interpretations. You know, all politics is local. An old friend of mine used to say, Tip O'Neill, and it's so true. The local it gets, the more local it gets, the more you empathize. Hey, Paul Henderson, sir, thank you for joining us out here in San Francisco, and thank you, Mark Sherman, for a very interesting insight. Up next,
Thanks for
the
having
House
us.
of Representatives.